As a boy, I had certain anti-Semitic experiences. I was told in the schoolyard when I was 10 or 11 years old that I had killed Jesus Christ. As a Jew, thinking about Nazi Germany made me hyper-conscious of the struggle that was going on in the world. I think that as a young man I was more conscious than probably most. In common with my generation, I knew that when I reached the age of 18, I would be drafted. Mrs. Ethel Shapiro did not want her little son Raymond going off to get killed in the war. And she hoped that my flat feet would make me ineligible for the draft. But I was more than reconciled to going into the Army. I was sent to O'Reilly General Hospital in Springfield, Missouri, to become a dental technician, a 3 or 4 month course. After that, I joined the 178th General Hospital. We were assembled and sent overseas in 1944. A few months after D-Day, my unit arrived in Normandy and then were transshipped to the city of Reims. We then set up our hospital. We treated German and American patients. Now, there were 600 or 700 or 800 guys in the hospital. There were maybe 8 or 10 or 12 Jewish doctors, but among the enlisted men, not many. I was made to feel by my encounters with certain anti-Semites, and I would say that these anti-Semites were ignorant more than they were ill-willed. Some Americans had fallen for the Nazi line that Roosevelt was a Jew. And when Roosevelt died, all of us were in shock, and some of us were in tears, and this Corporal Paul was saying something like, "I'm glad he's died, the damn Jew bastard." And for the first time since I was a kid, I had a fist fight with him. We slugged it out in the barracks for about 10 or 15 minutes with no result, only exhaustion. The Army experience was a leveler. The war changed everything. The 82nd Airborne Division was stationed in the Reims area, and we in the dental department knew when there was going to be a jump. Army regulations dictated that you could not go into battle without a certain number of occluding teeth. When the word got out that there was going to be a jump, we would get a big increase in the number of broken dentures. They were brave, but they weren't that brave. The Germans mounted a ferocious offensive, later known as the Battle of the Bulge, but they were stopped at Bastogne. So I came from a dental laboratory to be a participant in that battle. One night, the lights went on in the barracks. The first sergeant came around with a clipboard, and they selected all those young men who were not married and said, "Get ready, get your barracks bags packed, you're going out." In an hour or so, we were on weapons carriers and headed north into Belgium, where I first was shot at and surprised and terrified, hiding behind a wall and luckily not being hit. Then, after half an hour or so, onward to the battlefield of Bastogne. And the American casualties in that battle, 29,000 killed, not to mention many thousands more wounded. That was my experience of warfare as it really was, blood and death.